V hated hunting. It wasn't the blood, obviously. She loved blood, worshipped it, thought about it the way normal people thought about brunch. Indulgent, comforting, and best enjoyed without anyone talking about intermittent fasting. But the work? The stalking, the luring, the pretending to be interested in someone's Spotify playlists? Absolutely not. She'd rather be staked. She sprawled across the velvet chaise in her abandoned, church-turned lair. One leg draped over the armrest like a bored Renaissance courtesan who just discovered ennui. The church had once been a place of worship. Now it was a place where worship happened in a much more literal, blood-centric way. The stained glass windows were cracked, the pews shoved aside, and the altar had been repurposed into a bar cart. V had taste. She groaned to the empty sanctuary.
If I have to listen to one more man explain cryptocurrency before I drain him, I will set myself on fire just for the peace and quiet.
Her voice echoed up into the rafters, startling a few bats who had the misfortune of sharing real estate with her. They chittered in protest. She ignored them. She was in a mood. Hunting used to be fun, centuries ago, when humans were deliciously gullible and didn't have dating apps that required her to pretend she cared about their Enneagram type. Back then, she could simply appear in a dark alley, smile, and people would follow her like idiots. Now she had to build rapport. She had to seem relatable. She had to pretend to like podcasts. She would rather drink holy water. She was mid-sulk when the heavy wooden doors at the front of the church creaked open. The sound was hesitant, like whoever was entering wasn't entirely sure they were supposed to be there. Which, to be fair, they weren't. A figure stumbled inside. Well, walked in was generous. He drifted forward like someone who'd forgotten how legs worked. His eyes were unfocused, his expression dazed, his posture loose and pliant. He looked like a man who had wandered into the wrong party and was too polite to leave. V sat up slightly, intrigued. The charm spell had worked faster than she expected. The man blinked at her, confused, as though he'd forgotten why he was here. He was young, mid-20s maybe, with soft brown hair and the face that suggested he apologized a lot. He wore a hoodie, jeans, and the expression of someone who had never once been the main character in his own life. V smiled. It was not a kind smile.
Hi, sweetheart.
She purred, her voice dripping with predatory warmth.
You look like someone who desperately needs a purpose.
The man rubbed his forehead.
What? I was just walking home.
Were you?
She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle she already knew the answer to.
Or were you searching for meaning in your otherwise aggressively a mediocre life?
He opened his mouth, closed it, then nodded because somehow, impossibly, that felt true.
Perfect.
V said, clapping once.
You're hired.
For what?
She rose from the chaise with the slow, fluid grace of a creature who had absolutely eaten people before, and would absolutely do it again. Her movements were elegant, deliberate, and just a little terrifying.
To bring me dinner,
She said.
Regularly, warm, preferably not drunk. Alcohol tastes like regret and cheap cologne.
He blinked.
Dinner? Like food?
Oh, honey.
She patted his cheek, her touch cold and electric.
You're adorable. No, humans, bring me humans.
He should have screamed. He should have run. Should have done literally anything except nod. But the charm spell wrapped around his mind like silk dipped in poison, and he whispered.
Okay.
V grinned, fangs glinting.
See? I knew you were a team player.
Tyler. She learned his name later, though she didn't ask. He simply offered it like a confession. Returned 2 nights later. The church was quiet when the doors banged open again, this time with far less hesitation. Tyler staggered inside, panting, sweat-soaked, and carrying a fully grown man over his shoulder, like a sack of morally questionable potatoes. He dropped the man at V's feet with a grunt. The offering was unconscious, mid-20s, muscular, and wearing a tank top that suggested he had strong opinions about protein powder. His hair was gelled. His jawline was sharp. His soul was probably shallow. V inspected him with the air of a sommelier evaluating a wine she already knew she would hate. She said,
A little gym bro for my taste, but I appreciate the protein content.
Tyler swallowed hard.
I don't think he's a bad person.
Oh, darling.
V's eyes gleamed with ancient amusement.
They're all bad people. That's why they taste so good.
Then she fed, and the elegant, witty, sarcastic vampire vanished. What replaced her was a monster, her jaw unhinged wider than humanly possible. Her fingers elongated into talons. Her eyes went black, swallowing the whites entirely. Her spine arched, her ribs expanded, and her entire body shifted into something older, hungrier, and infinitely more terrifying. She tore into the man with a ferocity that made Tyler stagger back, bile rising in his throat. The sound was wet and primal, the air filled with the metallic tang of blood and the faint, sickening sweetness of adrenaline. Tyler pressed a hand to his mouth, horrified. He had known, intellectually, what she was, but knowing and seeing were different things. Seeing made it real, seeing made it undeniable. Seeing made something inside him twist. When she finished, she wiped her mouth with the back of her hand and sighed contentedly, like someone who had just finished a particularly satisfying dessert.
See?
She said brightly.
This is why I outsource. Hunting is exhausting. Eating is delightful.
Tyler stared at the blood pooling across the floor.
I don't think I can do this.
V arched a brow.
Of course you can. You're my little delivery boy. My personal Uber Eats of ethically questionable cuisine.
I don't want to hurt people.
She stepped closer, her expression softening into something almost tender, which was somehow worse. She leaned in, her breath cold against his ear.
You already have.
Tyler shivered, and somewhere deep inside him something cracked, but V wasn't done with him. Not yet. Over the next week, she watched him with the fascination of a scientist observing a lab rat who had unexpectedly learned to use tools. Tyler was obedient, quiet, and disturbingly efficient. The charm spell made sure of that. But there was something else beneath the surface, something she couldn't quite name. Guilt? Fear? A moral compass desperately trying to reorient itself? Adorable. She lounged on her chaise one evening, swirling a glass of blood like a sommelier pretending to care about tannins. Tyler stood nearby, fidgeting, his eyes darting to the door as though contemplating escape.
Relax.
She said lazily.
If I wanted to kill you, I'd done it already. You're useful.
That's not comforting.
It wasn't meant to be.
He swallowed.
I don't understand why you picked me.
Oh, sweetheart.
She stretched like a cat.
You were easy.
He flinched. She continued, unbothered.
You walk home alone. You don't make eye contact. You apologize when people bump into you. You radiate, please manipulate me. You're practically a walking recruitment poster.
Tyler looked down at his shoes.
I didn't think anyone noticed me.
I did.
She said simply.
And now you're mine.
The words should have terrified him. They did, but they also settled into him like a truth he'd been waiting to hear his whole life. And that was the part V liked best. The second delivery came 3 nights later. This time, Tyler brought a woman. Older, maybe mid-30s, dressed in business attire. Her expression slack with unconsciousness. V raised a brow.
Branching out, are we?
Tyler didn't answer. He looked pale, haunted, like he'd seen something he couldn't unsee. V circled the woman, sniffing delicately.
Stress hormones, burnout, a hint of corporate despair. Delicious.
Tyler's voice cracked.
She asked me for directions.
And you gave them.
V said sweetly.
To me.
He squeezed his eyes shut. V fed again, slower this time, savoring it, and Tyler watched, unable to look away, unable to stop himself, unable to stop her. When she finished, she licked her lips.
You're improving.
I feel sick.
You'll get used to it.
I don't want to.
She smiled.
You will.
And the worst part was, she wasn't wrong. By the end of the week, Tyler had delivered 4 more people. A lonely man who drank alone at a bar, a woman who cried on the bus, a teenager who'd run away from home, a man who said he didn't have anyone waiting for him. Tyler told himself he was choosing people who wouldn't be missed. V told him that was adorable.
You're trying to be ethical about murder.
She said one night, lounging upside down on her chaise like a bored bat.
It's precious, truly.
Tyler's hand shook.
I don't want to be a bad person.
Oh, darling.
She laughed, low and musical.
You crossed that line days ago.
He didn't argue. He couldn't. Because somewhere deep inside him, something had cracked. And that crack was widening. Tyler didn't sleep much anymore. Partly because V summoned him at all hours like a demonic boss who'd never heard of labor laws. And partly because every time he closed his eyes, he saw the first man's face. Slack, pale, drained like a Capri Sun from hell. The image clung to him like a stain he couldn't scrub out. He'd blink, and there it was again. The hollow cheeks, the limp limbs, the way the man's head lolled as if even gravity had given up on him. So Tyler sat on the church steps at dawn, elbows on his knees, head in his hands, trying to remember what a normal life felt like. A job, a sister, a cat, something, anything. He knew these things existed, had existed, but the charm spell fogged his memories like breath on glass. He could see the shapes behind it, but not the details, not the warmth. He wasn't even sure what his cat's name had been. Something with a P, maybe. Or an M. Maybe he'd never had a cat at all and the spell was just messing with him, tossing random fragments of life into his brain like confetti. Behind him, the church doors creaked open.
Oh, good.
V drawled.
You're awake, or at least upright. I don't actually care which.
Tyler flinched so hard he nearly toppled down the steps. He twisted around to see her framed in the doorway, backlit by the dim interior of the abandoned church. She looked like a Renaissance painting of a saint, if saints wore leather boots and had fangs.
I didn't know you were up.
He said.
Sweetheart, I'm undead. I'm always up.
She stretched like a cat that had eaten several canaries and was considering seconds.
Now, about tonight's menu.
He swallowed.
Menu?
Yes, menu. You know, the list of humans you're bringing me so I don't have to do cardio.
Tyler stared at the cracked pavement.
I don't think I can keep doing this.
V blinked at him slowly, then burst into laughter.
Oh, that's adorable. You think you have a choice.
I do.
He insisted, though his voice trembled.
I feel wrong, like I'm helping you hurt people.
You are helping me hurt people.
She said cheerfully.
That's the job. I thought we covered this.
I didn't agree to this.
You didn't disagree either.
She said, tapping his forehead with one cold fingertip.
Consent is a spectrum, darling, and you're currently on the too enchanted to resist end.
Tyler's stomach twisted.
I don't want to be a monster.
V snorted.
Relax. You're not the monster, you're the assistant to the monster. Completely different job description.
She sauntered past him, her boots clicking on the stone floor as she moved deeper into the church.
Now come along. I need you to pick up something fresh. Last night's meal was chewy.
Tyler followed because he couldn't not follow. The spell tugged at him like invisible strings, pulling him along even as his mind screamed at him to run. The second victim was a woman in her 30s, dressed in business attire, unconscious in the back of Tyler's car. He didn't remember grabbing her, didn't remember anything except V's voice echoing in his skull like a commandment. Bring me dinner. He dragged her inside, heart pounding so hard it felt like it might burst through his ribs. His hand shook. His breath came in short, panicked bursts. He kept waiting for the spell to loosen, for his own will to break through, for something, anything to stop him. Nothing did. V clapped her hands when she saw the woman.
Oh, lovely. You brought me a career woman. They're always so stressed, their blood practically sparkles.
Tyler winced.
Ugh, please, don't.
But she already had her claws out. The feeding was worse this time, more violent, more animalistic. V tore into the woman with a frenzy that made Tyler's vision blur. He pressed himself against the wall, shaking, trying not to scream. He squeezed his eyes shut, but the sounds, wet, tearing, hungry, were impossible to block out. When it was over, V wiped her mouth with a lace handkerchief that had definitely never been used for anything wholesome. She sighed.
Notes of caffeine, despair, and a hint of peppermint gum. Delightful.
Tyler stared at the body.
She had a family.
V rolled her eyes.
Everyone has a family. That's not a personality trait.
You're killing people.
Yes.
She said.
And you deliver them. We make such a cute team.
I don't want to be a part of this.
She stepped closer, her eyes glowing faintly red.
Tyler, sweetheart, you're already part of this. You're knee-deep in the blood pool. You might as well swim.
He shook his head.
I can't keep doing this.
Oh, you can.
She said lightly.
And you will, because the spell says so, and because deep down you like being needed.
I don't.
You do.
She said, tapping his chest.
You're lonely, invisible, forgettable, but with me, you matter. You have a purpose. You're important.
Tyler's breath hitched. And damn her, some part of him believed her. V smiled, satisfied.
Good boy. Now clean up the mess. I'm feeling peckish again tonight.
She glided away, humming a tune that sounded suspiciously like a lullaby sung by someone who'd eaten the baby. Tyler stared at the blood on the floor. Something inside him twisted. Something dark, something growing. He cleaned mechanically, scrubbing the stone floor until his arms ached. The church was cold, drafty, and smelled faintly of mildew and centuries-old incense. The stained glass windows were cracked, their colors warped by time and neglect. Dust coated the pews. Cobwebs hung like tattered curtains. It should have felt abandoned, but with V in it, the place felt alive in the worst possible way. Tyler dumped the bloody water outside, watching it swirl down the cracked steps and into the gutter. He wondered how many times he'd done this now, how many nights he'd lost, how many memories the spell had eaten. He wondered if anyone was looking for him. He wondered if he'd even remember if they were. He went back inside. V was lounging across a pew like a bored queen waiting for her court to amuse her. She twirled a strand of her dark hair around one finger, her expression thoughtful.
You're getting faster.
She said.
That's good. Efficiency is important in this line of work.
This isn't a line of work.
Tyler muttered.
It is, if you're doing it every night.
He sank onto a pew across from her, exhausted.
Why me?
She raised an eyebrow.
Why not you?
That's not an answer.
It's the only answer that matters.
She stretched again, cat-like.
You were convenient, alone, soft-hearted, easy to enchant, and you didn't scream when you saw me, which was refreshing.
I was in shock.
Semantics.
Tyler rubbed his face.
You could have picked anyone.
I did pick anyone.
She said.
You just happened to be the anyone who walked by.
He stared at her.
So this is random?
Sweetheart, nothing in my life is random, but you were available.
He didn't know whether to feel insulted or relieved. V sat up, leaning forward.
Besides, you're doing beautifully. Most humans break after the first delivery. You're still standing, shaking, yes, crying occasionally, sure, but standing.
That's not a compliment.
It is from me.
Tyler looked down at his hands. They were trembling again. He clenched them into fists, trying to steady them.
I don't want to hurt people.
You're not hurting them.
V said.
I am.
That doesn't make it better.
It makes it different.
He shook his head.
I don't want to be a part of this.
You keep saying that,
She said.
and yet here you are.
Because you're forcing me.
Because you're useful.
Tyler's voice cracked.
I don't want to be useful to you.
V tilted her head.
Then be useful to yourself.
He blinked.
What does that even mean?
It means
She said.
that you should stop whining and start adapting. You're in this now. You can either crumble or evolve.
I don't want to evolve into something who helps you kill people.
Then evolve into someone who survives me.
Tyler froze. V smiled, slow and sharp.
There it is. The spark. I knew you had it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You will.
She stood, brushing imaginary dust from her dress.
Now, I'm going to rest. You're going to go home, shower, and pretend you're not falling apart. And tonight, you'll bring me someone new.
I won't.
You will. Tyler,
She said, her voice suddenly soft, almost gentle.
you're mine. And you're not ready to stop being mine.
He felt the spell tighten around his mind like a fist. His breath hitched. V leaned in, her lips near his ear.
But one day,
She whispered.
you might be.
She pulled back, her eyes gleaming with something he couldn't name.
Run along now.
Tyler stumbled out of the church, the morning sun stabbing at his eyes. He walked to his car in a daze, his thoughts tangled, his heart pounding. He didn't know why her words felt like both a threat and a promise. He didn't know why something inside him, something small, something buried, had stirred when she said, "Survive me." But he felt it, a seed, a shadow, a hunger, not for blood, but for something else, something dangerous, something that didn't belong to V, something that belonged to him. He gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. He didn't want to be a monster, but maybe, just maybe, he didn't want to be prey either. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the fear and the spell and the guilt, something dark twisted again. Something growing, something waiting. Tyler woke on the church floor with dried blood on his hands. Not his, never his. The stains had gone from tacky to flaking, little rust-colored flecks breaking off as he pushed himself upright. His palms looked like they belonged to someone else, someone dangerous, someone complicit. Someone he didn't recognize anymore. He sat up slowly, head pounding, vision swimming in and out of focus. The stone beneath him was cold and unforgiving, pressing into his spine like a reprimand, a reminder, a warning, a prison. He didn't remember falling asleep. He didn't remember anything after dragging last night's victim. That was becoming a pattern, a terrifying one. His memories were no longer a continuous thread, but a series of jagged snapshots, stitched together with gaps wide enough to fall through. He'd wake up in strange positions, in strange rooms, with strange stains on his clothes. Sometimes he'd find bruises on his arms, fingerprints that didn't match his own. Sometimes he'd find scratches. Once he'd found a bite mark. He didn't know if it was his, but this morning felt different. Wrong in a new way. The spell was slipping. He could feel it. Like fog thinning in patches, revealing shapes he didn't want to see. Thoughts that weren't allowed. Memories that weren't supposed to return. A sense of self he'd been told was irrelevant. Footsteps echoed from the far end of the sanctuary. V emerged from the shadows, stretching like she'd just awoken from a delightful nap instead of a night of carnage. Her movements were fluid, feline, indulgent. She looked refreshed, radiant, almost glowing.
Well, look who's conscious.
She said brightly.
I was starting to think you died on me, which would be rude, by the way. I didn't give you permission.
Tyler rubbed his temples.
I don't remember what happened.
That's because you're fragile.
She said, waving a hand dismissively.
Humans are basically wet paper bags with anxiety. Your brains aren't built for this level of excitement.
He stared at her, throat tight.
You did something to me.
Yes.
She said, smiling sweetly.
I enslaved your mind. We've been over this.
No.
He said, voice shaking.
It's changing. I'm remembering things. Feeling things.
For the first time since he'd met her, V's smile faltered. Just for a fraction of a second. A crack in her porcelain arrogance. A hairline fracture in her certainty. Then she smoothed it over with practiced ease.
Tyler, darling, listen to me.
She crouched in front of him, her eyes glowing faintly.
You're experiencing what we in the supernatural community call a Tuesday. You're fine.
I'm not fine.
You're fine adjacent.
She corrected.
Which is the best any human can hope for.
He pushed himself to his feet, swaying slightly.
I don't want to do this anymore.
V sighed dramatically.
Sweetheart, you keep saying that like it's a plot twist. It's not. It's a recurring theme, and frankly, it's getting boring.
I mean it.
Oh, I know you do.
She said, patting his cheek.
That's what makes it cute.
Tyler jerked away from her touch, and something in her expression sharpened. A flash of something predatory, something ancient. Something that didn't like being denied.
Careful.
She murmured.
You're tugging at threads you don't understand.
I don't want to be your servant.
You're not my servant. You're my employee. Unpaid, unwilling, magically coerced, but still employee.
She said.
That's not better.
It's not worse.
She countered.
Perspective is everything.
Tyler backed away, heart hammering.
I'm leaving.
V blinked, then laughed.
Leaving? Leaving? Oh, sweetheart, you can't even leave the building without my permission.
He turned toward the door anyway. His hand touched the handle, and for the first time since meeting her, it moved. The door cracked open an inch, letting in a sliver of cold morning air. Dust motes danced in the beam of light like tiny, rebellious stars. V's voice snapped through the air like a whip.
Stop.
Tyler froze, but not because of the spell, because he was afraid. Slowly, he turned. V stood perfectly still, eyes narrowed, lips pressed into a thin line. Her posture was rigid, coiled like a predator assessing a threat it hadn't anticipated.
Well,
She said softly.
That's inconvenient.
What's happening to me?
You're adapting.
She said.
Humans aren't supposed to adapt. It's very annoying.
He swallowed hard.
The spell is breaking.
No,
She said.
it's evolving.
Into what?
She smiled, but it wasn't her usual amused, mocking smile. It was tight, controlled, almost nervous.
That
She said.
is what I intend to find out.
Tyler spent the next day pretending to sleep while V paced the sanctuary, muttering to herself. She moved with restless energy, like a storm trapped in a bottle. Her boots clicked sharply against the stone floor, each step punctuating her frustration. He caught fragments of her murmured complaints.
Shouldn't be possible. Humans don't metabolize magic. If he becomes a problem...
He didn't like the last part. He lay still, breathing evenly, eyes half-focused. He'd learned early on that V assumed humans were too stupid to fake sleep convincingly. He used that to his advantage. She paced for hours, her agitation growing. She snapped at shadows. She hissed at a stained glass window. At one point, she threw a hymnal across the room with enough force to embed it into the wall. Tyler flinched. She didn't notice. When she finally left to stretch her wings, which he assumed meant terrorize the city for fun, Tyler waited a full 10 minutes before moving. He listened for her return, for the flutter of wings or the whisper of displaced air. Nothing. He crept into the church's dusty library. Most of the books were ancient, leather-bound, written in languages he didn't recognize. Looping scripts, angular runes, symbols that made his eyes ache if he stared too long. But one was in English. Vampiric weaknesses and how to weaponize them. The title alone made his pulse quicken. He flipped through the pages, hands shaking. The illustrations were crude but clear. Vampires bursting into flame. Vampires dissolving into ash. Vampires screaming as holy water burned through their skin. Sunlight, stakes, holy water, decapitation. He swallowed hard. He wasn't sure he had the stomach for any of those. Then he found it. Garlic. Not fatal, but debilitating, paralyzing, corrupting. He read the passage twice, then a third time, then he whispered,
I can do this.
For the first time since meeting V, he felt something like hope. Or maybe it was something darker. Something sharper, something hungry. Tyler had never realized how loud an empty alley could be. The wind scraped along the brick walls like fingernails. A loose gutter clanged somewhere above him. The streetlight flickered in a way that felt intentional, like the universe was trying to warn him that this was a terrible idea, and he should absolutely turn around, go home, and pretend none of this had ever happened. But he couldn't, not anymore. His breath fogged in the cold night air as he stared down at the syringe in his shaking hands. The garlic extract inside glowed faintly, not literally, not like radioactive ooze, but enough that the pale yellow caught the light and made his stomach twist. It looked wrong, like something that didn't belong in a human body, or a vampire's. He swallowed hard. His throat felt tight, like his body was trying to physically reject what he was about to do. He turned toward the car. The woman in the passenger seat was still unconscious. Slumped against the window, her breath shallow but steady. She looked like someone who had a life, a job, a family, a favorite coffee order, a cat that would be very confused when she didn't come home. Tyler's chest tightened.
I'm sorry.
He whispered, voice cracking.
I don't want to hurt you. I don't have another way.
He didn't know if he was apologizing to her or to himself, maybe both. He slid the needle into her arm. The garlic spread beneath her skin like a bruise, blooming and fast forward, darkening, branching, and sinking deeper. He watched it with a sick fascination, like staring at a wound that he couldn't look away from. He hated this. He hated what he'd become. Hated that V had turned him into someone who could do this without collapsing. Someone who could drag strangers into his car. Someone who could lie to himself long enough to survive another day. But he hated her more. He closed the car door gently, like he was tucking the woman in for a nap instead of delivering her to a monster.
This ends tonight,
He whispered. The church loomed ahead of him like a corpse left standing. The stained glass windows were cracked, the doors warped, the stone steps chipped and uneven. It had once been a place of worship. Now it was V's feeding grounds. Tyler dragged the woman inside, her weight awkward and heavy. His muscles burned, but he didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Not now. Inside, the sanctuary was lit only by candles. Dozens of them, scattered across the altar and pews like a fire hazard waiting to happen. Shadows danced across the walls, twisting into shapes that looked almost alive. V sat perched on the altar like a smug gargoyle, filing her nails with a silver dagger she'd stolen from a museum. She looked bored, annoyed, and hungry. When she saw Tyler, she brightened.
Oh, look at you.
She cooed.
Bringing me a midnight snack. And she's cute. I love when they're cute. Their blood tastes sweeter when they have hopes and dreams.
Tyler's jaw clenched.
just eat.
My, someone's cranky.
She hopped down, boots clicking on the stone.
Did you finally grow a backbone? How precious. I'll break it later.
He didn't respond. He couldn't trust his voice. V circled the woman like a shark, sniffing the air dramatically.
She smells odd. Did you bathe her in essential oils? Please tell me you didn't pick me up a yoga instructor. They always taste like kale and self-righteousness.
She leaned in, inhaling deeply. A long, luxurious breath like she was smelling fresh-baked bread instead of a terrified woman. She purred.
Now that's a bouquet. Warm, sweet, slightly anxious. Perfect.
V sank her fangs into the woman's neck. The sound was soft but unmistakable. A wet puncture, a gasp, a swallow. V's shoulders relaxed. Her eyelids fluttered. She drank like she was slipping into a hot bath after a long day.
Oh,
She sighed against the woman's skin.
that's lovely. You did well for once.
Tyler's stomach twisted. V drank deeply, greedily, like she was punishing him with every swallow. Then it happened. Her body jerked. Her eyes flew open, glowing bright red for a split second before flickering like a dying bulb. She staggered back, choking, claws flying to her throat.
What?
She rasped.
What did you...
The garlic hit her bloodstream like a bomb. She dropped the woman, who crumpled to the floor, still breathing, but barely. V stumbled, grabbing the edge of the altar for support. Her legs trembled violently. Her pupils dilated unevenly. Her breath came in ragged, furious bursts.
You
She gasped.
poisoned me.
Tyler swallowed.
I think you underestimate how much I want you dead.
You ungrateful little parasite.
She snarled, voice cracking.
I gave you purpose.
You stole my life.
I improved it.
You ruined it.
V lunged, or tried to. Her legs buckled, sending her crashing to the floor. She caught herself on her claws, panting and shaking.
Tyler,
She growled.
come here.
No,
Her head snapped up.
I wasn't asking.
I know.
He said.
That's the problem.
She tried to stand again, but her limbs spasmed violently. The garlic was burning through her veins like acid.
You think you can kill me?
She spat.
You think you can replace me?
Tyler stepped back, gripping the silver dagger she'd left on the altar.
I don't want to replace you.
He said.
I want to stop you.
V laughed, a broken, rasping sound.
Oh, sweetheart, you can't stop me. You're nothing.
Not anymore.
Her eyes widened, not with fear, but with realization.
You're changing.
She whispered.
My magic, it's mutating in you.
Tyler didn't understand, didn't care. He raised the dagger. V snarled, forcing herself upright.
If you kill me, you'll become something worse.
Good,
Tyler said, and he charged. The fight was chaos. V, even weakened, was a whirlwind of claws and teeth and rage. She slashed his arm open. He stabbed at her shoulder. She threw him across the sanctuary. He slammed her into a pew. The wood splintered beneath them, but she was slowing, her movements jerky, her breaths ragged, her strength bleeding out with every second the garlic spread. Tyler staggered to his feet, chest heaving. V crawled toward him, eyes wild.
You can't win.
She rasped.
You're human.
not anymore.
He whispered, and he swung the dagger. The blade sliced through her neck. V's eyes widened in shock, not fear, not pain, but disbelief that anyone had ever dared. Her head hit the stone floor with a dull thud. Her body collapsed beside it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her corpse dissolved into ash, swirling upward like smoke caught in a draft. Tyler stood alone in the silence, blood dripping from his arm, chest burning, heart pounding. He waited for relief. It didn't come. Instead, something inside him shifted, twisted, awakened. He dropped the dagger, clutching his chest as a cold, electric pulse surged through him. These last words echoed in his skull.
If you kill me, you'll become something worse. Become something worse. Something worse.
Tyler gasped, and in the darkness of the abandoned church, something inside him smiled. The air felt wrong when Tyler stepped outside. Not just colder, not just sharper. Wrong in a way that a room feels after someone has been watching you from the dark. He paused on the cracked church steps, staring at the quiet street as if it were a painting of a world he no longer belonged to. Cars drifted in the distance, their headlights slicing through the dark like indifferent eyes. A dog barked once, then fell silent. A porch light flickered on down the block, illuminating nothing but an empty yard. Life continued. But not for him. He touched his chest. His heartbeat thudded once, slow, like a warning drum, echoing from something ancient and buried. Something had been waiting for him. He inhaled, and the world crashed into him. It hit him like a tidal wave of sensation, drowning him in clarity so sharp it bordered on violence. He could smell everything, the metallic tang of distant blood, the sour sweat of a man jogging 3 streets over, the warm sugar of a bakery cooling pastries for the morning crowd. He could smell the mold in the gutters, the rust on the street signs, the faint chemical sting of a woman's perfume, lingering in the air from hours ago. He could hear everything, the hum of streetlights, the whisper of leaves scraping against pavement, the faint buzz of a phone vibrating in someone's pocket 2 blocks away. He heard the shifting bones of a raccoon climbing into a dumpster. He heard the soft, rhythmic breathing of a child asleep behind a closed window. He could feel everything, the pulse of the city, the tremor of life, the electric thrum of fear waiting to be born. It was too much, too loud, too alive. Tyler staggered back, gripping the railing as if the world itself were tilting beneath him.
What am I?
The cold inside him answered.
Free.
The word wasn't spoken, it wasn't heard, it simply existed inside him, like a truth he had always known but never dared to acknowledge. He turned back to the sanctuary, drawn by a pull he didn't understand, or maybe didn't want to understand. The church door creaked as he pushed it open, the sound echoing through the hollow space like a dying breath. The ash on the floor had settled into a thin gray layer, like a residue of a burned-out star. It coated the cracked tiles, the altar steps, the edges of the pews. It looked peaceful, almost gentle. It wasn't. He knelt beside it.
V,
He whispered.
you did this to me.
The ash didn't stir, didn't shift, didn't acknowledge him, but the memory of her voice curled around him like smoke.
You're not her. You're worse.
He clenched his fists, nails digging into the skin that refused to break.
I won't be a monster.
But even as he said it, he felt the lie coil inside him like a serpent. He wasn't fighting hunger, not the way she had. He didn't crave blood, he didn't crave flesh. He craved something far more dangerous. Control, dominance, power. The things V had wielded so effortlessly. The things she had which forced him to serve. The things she had used to bend him, shape him, break him. Now they pulsed inside him like a second heartbeat. He stood and walked to the altar. The silver dagger lay where he dropped it, gleaming faintly in the moonlight that filtered through the broken stained glass window. He picked it up. He pressed the blade to his palm. It didn't cut. He pressed harder, dragging the edge across his skin with enough force to slice through bone. Still nothing. He stared at the metal, realization settling over him like a burial shroud. He wasn't human anymore. He wasn't a vampire either. He was something in between. Something immune to the weaknesses of both. A predator with no leash. A monster with no master. The sanctuary felt smaller suddenly, as if the walls were shrinking away from him. As if the building itself understood what stood inside it and wanted no part of it. Tyler walked down the aisle, each step echoing like a countdown. The air around him vibrated with a strange tension, as though the world were holding its breath. He paused at the doorway, looking back one last time at the ash on the floor.
Goodbye, V.
He murmured. It wasn't grief. It wasn't love. It was a promise, a warning, a beginning. Tyler left the church at dawn. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds, colors that once would have comforted him. He braced himself for pain, for burning, for the agony V had always described with a mixture of fear and resentment. Nothing happened. The sunlight warmed his skin. He laughed a low, disbelieving sound that felt too big for his throat. He stepped fully into the light, letting it wash over him. It felt cleansing, empowering, like the world's oldest enemy had just bowed before him. Tyler felt it now, the pull, the hunger, the cold whispering urging him forward. Not to feed, not to kill, to rule, to dominate, to reshape the world into something that made sense to him. Something that bowed to him. He paused at the corner, watching the city wake up. Watching the people who believed they were safe. Watching the fragile illusion of normalcy stretch thin under the weight of something they couldn't see. Something they wouldn't see until it was too late. Tyler smiled, a slow, dangerous smile that didn't reach his eyes.
Time to introduce myself.
And with that, the new monster stepped into the daylight. Thank you all for listening. I want to thank Shadow Thread Stories, who wrote tonight's story. This writer has a plethora of great stories, which you can find with a link I will post in the description. I also want to thank 242, who voiced V. She had a monstrous amount of lines on this video, but she also has a great narration channel of her own. I also want to thank Phoenix from Back to Ashes, who voiced Tyler. He had an enormous amount of lines as well. It almost felt like half of the video was their characters talking to each other. Phoenix has a fantastic narration channel of his own, and he has recently started streaming on YouTube. Lastly, I want to thank Goodman, who solo composed all of this video's music.